Hi Guy, welcome to B&B Spoilers and News Channel. Today we will talk about Bold and the Beautiful. Spoilers. On Friday the 11th of September teases that Brooke Logan and Katie Logan will try to solve their problems. It's common for brothers to have problems sometimes, but the Logan sisters take it to the extreme. Fortunately, there may be a way out, especially since Katie still believes Brooke and Ridge Forrester are each other's fate. Katie was not happy with Brooke and Bill's stolen kiss, which was played on the digital frame Quinn Forrester uploaded it too. Bill also declared his love for Brooke recently, so it was another blow for Katie. However, Katie has an indulgent heart and doesn't want to exclude her sister from her life. Anyway, it's not Brooke's fault that Bill is sniffing again. As Katie and Brooke argue, they will realize that there has been some manipulation going on. It is possible that someone like Donna Logan is holding a little trap to reunite her sisters. Donna might trick Brooke and Katie into meeting up so they can have a long argument and bury the past. If so, it's definitely something Katie and Brooke would have figured out pretty quickly. Then again, the manipulation Brooke and Katie are pondering may involve Quinn Forrester. Quinn worked behind the scenes to make sure Brooke and Ridge stayed apart, so this involved Bill Spencer in the drama. Since both Katie's love life and Brooke's have been affected by Quinn's actions, they may see it as Quinn manipulating them. We know Katie thinks Brooke and Ridge still have a chance, but what about Katie and Bill? Will Brooke also push for a Beatty reunion? Regardless, Brooke and Katie will take steps towards true reconciliation on Friday. Other Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Ridge will shift gears as his tirade continues. BB fans know that Ridge has railed with Eric Forrester about how much he hates Bill. Of course, that doesn't mean Quinn will get away with it without any problems. It won't be long before Ridge complains about Quinn sticking her nose where he doesn't belong. Ridge will give Eric updates on Quinn's latest round of meddling and argue that Quinn needs to get out of the bridge situation. As for Ridge, Quinn is a conniving troublemaker who lives for drama. Ridge doesn't know half of it as it's out of the loop of the entire Vegas history. Quinn plotted with Shauna Fulton Forrester to make sure Ridge divorces Brooke and marries Shauna, so it's a shock that will come along the way. As more BB news becomes available, we will continue to bring you updates. Kicked Thomas out because Liam was on his way back with Kelly. Steffi cleaned up early and instead saw Hope without Kelly in her doorway. Steffi learned that Kelly had asked to stay with Hope for even longer and went medieval with her former rival. Steffi was sure Hope was keeping Kelly away from her on purpose. "She is my daughter, not yours," Steffi shouted. I have to say Jacqueline McInnes Wood really knocked her out in that scene. Liam was right. Steffi is usually in control, and seeing Steffi out of that control under JMW's control created a beautiful scene. But Steffi recovered and apologized for dumped Hope. She really missed Kelly and needed her baby with her. Hope deduced that Steffi's initial reaction denoted more than just Steffi's frustration. Steffi snapped back at Hope, just as Finn heard the raised voices and let himself in. Steffi was mortified and tried to scold him, but Hope went further and told the doctor that Steffi was not acting like herself. This bothered me, put Steffi on the spot, and I think it might have been inappropriate. It's important your doctor knows, Hope said in self-defense. Meanwhile, Liam was late for work at Spencer Publications due to all the time Dad spent with the kids. Maybe I'm just drawing a blank, But when did Liam start working for Bill again? Was it just before COVID? While waiting for Liam to introduce himself, Wyatt, Justin and Bill talked about implementing an inclusion initiative at the company and greater diversity in their offices around the world. Spoilers indicated that we would be addressing some of the Black Lives Matter problems, and I hope this is not what they intended. Talking about Spencer being more inclusive is great, albeit casual, but I think what's stated here is a real story that demonstrates that diversity. Not just giving the black actors plots, but making the current struggle reflect on the screen. Giving Spencer diversity off screen is just praise. Either way, the actual work at Spencer turned into a detailed chat about how Steffi was and wasn't doing. Liam was worried that after all that Steffi had lost, he was going through more than he'd let on. Liam didn't mention Phoebe, but it was a pretty deep cut that I'm sure Steffi would still have heard. Bill was worried but had to ask how Steffi was doing, saying he would have to go to Steffi's again. I repeat again, why is Bill relegated to controlling Steffi off screen? He's just the guy who put Steffi in the hospital in the first place. Plus, he professed his love for Steffi more than once. What, he, as Brooke implied, isn't obsessed enough with Steffi to send nurses around the clock, throw her money, and come every day to see that Steffi is okay. Bill's absence there seems totally out of place. Once alone with Finn, Steffi's interaction with him was far more patient doctor than indicative of an overflowing romance. Finn watched Steffi and Liam blast from the Sears portrait studio and noticed he looked happy there. You want to feel that way again, Finn observed. Steffi apologized for being all mad at Hope, admitting that the pain is a little nervous. Steffi then tried to get another prescription for pain medication from Finn, after he had already told her he would only provide one bottle. Finn couldn't be persuaded and thought Steffi might become addicted to pills. But he tried to advise Steffi through her current situation and said he couldn't let her go down that slippery slope. Finn had pledged to help Steffi and claimed he was there for her. But that's where we left things, so we won't find out until next week where Steffi and Finn's slow burn, which burned out too slowly this week, goes. What do you think, Scoopers? Is Steffi really getting addicted to pain pills? Should Hope interfere about Kelly and Dr. Finn? Do Brooke and Ridge have to graduate from high school and act like adults? And are you on board for Carter starting things with Zoe? To Spencer, Shauna arrived with a gift for Wyatt. He was delighted that she had brought his famous homemade cookies with oatmeal and raisins. He had invited them to thank Wyatt for helping Flo find herself in a really good place. Wyatt thought it was sweet and said that Flo made him happy. Shauna asked if Sally was causing any problems, and he said he didn't talk to her at all. Shauna received a notice that she had a voice message from Quinn, which Shauna noticed she was also happy with Wyatt and Flo. Wyatt thought that Shauna had a lot more to be happy about those days in Flo's life. Shauna said she was still pinching herself. She and Quinn had never imagined that they would both marry in a famous fashion family. Shauna's alarm rang again, and Wyatt and Shauna joked that she shouldn't have to keep her stepmother waiting. He checked his answering machine. He said Quinn wanted to see her, but it wasn't urgent. Wyatt noticed that Quinn really liked someone or really hated them, and it was good that Shauna was on Quinn's friends list. Oh, I don't know, Shauna replied. In Forrester, Eric was surprised by Katie's feelings about Ridge and Brooke. Katie said that despite what happened with Bill and Brooke, and Brooke's penchant for self-sabotage, Katie still believed Brooke and Ridge should and would be together. It's called fate for a reason, right? Katie understood. Eric asked if Bill and Katie could recover from their problems. Katie felt that she and Bill were co-parenting for Will's sake, but as a couple. Sighing, she added that it was different for Ridge and Brooke. Katie still believed in them despite everything. Eric did it too and asked if this caused him any problems at home. Eric thought he meant Quinn. Katie revealed her knowledge of Quinn's support for Shauna and Ridge. Eric explained that Quinn cheered for her best friend. Katie thought the antics like uploading that video went beyond cheerleading. Agreeing, Eric believed that Quinn had learned her lesson and knew he expected better of her in the future. He was sure Quinn wouldn't get in the way if Ridge wanted to go back to Brooke. Katie made a skeptical expression. Katie said it might sound crazy. However, she knew Bill adored her. It just wasn't enough. He still wanted Brooke. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe.